Well, one thing is that I think the customer's end story is what their customer wants, right? And their customer wants a story. So when I'm saying we might name the mine, it's going to be named so that it's identifiable, so that when they produce this beautiful sapphire and piece of jewelry to their customer, they have the entire process documented, which they can present to their customer, starting with the name of the mine that it was produced from, and then the name of the person who heated their sapphire, and the name of the cutter, and the name of the buyer, and everybody who's involved. My name is there. And I mean, my name, I want it to stand for integrity and compassion. This is what I'm about, and that's what it's going to be. And so when they pass this off to their customer, it's all tied in together. And my way of doing business is very old school. I'm very patient with it. And one customer at a time. One person buys it, it will go from one to the other by word of mouth. I'm also looking at developing a customized book for the process, so that could be presented as well. It's the future. It's the future of our industry. Number one, people have the ability with technology to quantify anything. And it's not that they're cheap. It's not anything other than people are more educated. They want more information. They want the ability to quantify. They want the ability to compare. And they want to have what they want. And today, it's more than just the stone. It's more than just the jewelry. But it's all-encompassing. It encompasses, what went into it, who went into it, what's the outcome. If they're going to spend $10,000 on something, I mean, here's a stat. I'd say on the lower end, the customers who want sustainable jewelry are willing to pay up to 30% more than standard retail. And it could be as high as 50%, just to make sure that their money goes into the right business, into the right place. 30 to 50%, that's standard. I mean, that's substantial. And that doesn't mean, my model doesn't mean that I need to increase the price, because my model is, I want to be able to make my product available across the board to everybody. Because what does that mean? If I'm more easily accessible, my end goal of being able to make my business grow and also help these communities is going to grow as well. So keeping my price as stable as possible, keeping it within reach on a standard wholesale level as well as on a sustainable wholesale level is extremely important, because the more volume I can move, the more people I can reach. Growth is important, scalability is important, sustainability is important, but the main thing is that, the main thing for me is, and I've talked to Chloe about this, redundancy. Okay, I put the pieces together, but I need to make sure there's no failure in each step. So let's say there's we have a cutting project, there's an issue that pops up. If it's redundant, something else steps in to take care of it. Slow growth is fine for me, but the redundancy is important. Because for me to be sustainable past, the next 6 months or 1 year, I want this to be something that can be generational. And if I actually never even have a family, I want to put this in the hands of someone who will pass this on and make the company continue to grow. So the pace is not as big of a factor. I do want business, don't get me wrong. I do want people to identify me with quality and all the factors I've discussed. But growing it slowly means it's going to be sustainable over a longer period of time. And that's the most important thing, is that what I've started can continue to improve, not in just Sri Lanka. My vision is way beyond Sri Lanka, especially going into East Africa, where there is a serious need for this model in particular. I would say I'm developing in Sri Lanka to take it to other countries and improve their infrastructure there. I do a little bit with Madagascar, and I've been working with Madagascar material for about the last 2 years. It fits a specific price point, even though the material is corundum. There are differences in pricing, and Madagascar material I find very easily identifiable by their crystal inclusions. The material from Madagascar, primarily what I'm working towards is trying to help that community in that country with the same model. And I don't believe, there are certain companies that believe East Africa can't fit into their model because of it not being sustainable now. But how do you make it sustainable? By cutting it off? That doesn't make any sense. You have to help fund it to improve it. So if that's a knock on me, that's fine. Right? Yeah, but I would say maybe 30% of my inventory is of Madagascar origin. It is still fully traceable. I can trace it to the mine, but I can't 100% say it's being mined in a sustainable model. The mining regions are not necessarily eco-friendly. I think their methods are quite primitive, and you know, they just need to be educated. It's not that, you know, they don't have the funding, they don't have the equipment to do it the most optimal way, let's say. That's going to be good for the environment and good for the people. But again, it's going to take funding to make that happen, and cutting the funding is going to make it worse.